This is Slaughter at Tannhauser Gate, the most difficult level on House of the Dying Sun. I'm going to beat it on Dragon difficulty, that's the highest difficulty, with the Flagship bonus. I use the flak drone to counter the wraith missiles, the seeker missiles that the enemy flagship fires, also the reinforcements that keep warping in this level. A lot of them have drones of their own, so the flak drone is good counter against that. I also use the energy shields. You just take a ton of damage in this level, and you really need that regenerative capability that the shields offer. I use the Autocannon as my primary weapon. You can use that other one, the sniper one. It does work, but my aim sucks, so I use the Autocannon. I also use the ECM as my secondary. There's way too many things in this level that have shields to use anything else. And lastly, I use the purifier missiles because they're awesome and the other missile sucks. I managed to beat this level on the second try that I recorded, but here are some brief clips of what went wrong on that first attempt. Then I'll get into the successful second try. This is 100% me being greedy, ignoring the frigate and flying straight at the flagship and just eating it right in the teeth. Then I failed to realize that my new ship has already lost its flak drone. The last ship has lost its flak drone too. If I can get 3 kills, then I can get some reinforcements, but I just can't get a break. I can't focus on any target long enough because those wraith missiles keep incoming and I keep having to shoot them down until finally I can't. Drifting makes it possible for me to be moving away from the missiles while I rotate around and shoot them down, but it sets me on a constant course where I'm vulnerable to the railguns and the enemy reinforcements. Here's attempt number 2 in its entirety. I order my allies to target the corvettes on the left, mostly so that they'll be in position so that I can switch into them later and destroy the transports, which are the primary objective. Meanwhile, I'm going to fly off solo to the right and hit the transports over there. These transports want to warp out of this level very quickly. I've experimented with trying to beat this level with like the gap drive, where I would just jumped back and forth to kill the transports on either side. But the gap drive puts you at too much of a disadvantage, I find, to destroy everything else. I really need those shields, really need those flak drones, so I just split up my forces to hit both targets. I like to lay some fire into the destroyers on my way past. There's usually not enough time to kill either of them, but it damages them a little bit. Hit the brakes hard, but make sure you are underneath the shield before laying in those purifier missiles to destroy the transports. The ones on the far right side do have shields, the ones on the left do not. As soon as the transports are down, I pause into the tactical menu and switch over to one of my wingmates that's on the opposite side of the level so that I can target those other primary objectives before they warp out. It's a huge relief to get the primary targets down, but I'm also going to go for the bonus and the flagship bounty now. Nothing else in the mission is time sensitive, so now it's just about thinning out the enemy forces and surviving for a little while. Enemy fighters and corvettes both have shields, so it's all about getting those ECM shots in and then hitting reload and switch weapon right away as soon as the shield goes down and laying into them with the autocannon. Usually you'll be moving around enough to avoid the sentinel shots, but there I take one, and that just drops your shields almost immediately, so you gotta kind of keep weaving and wobbling around, even as you're trying to hold steady and get a fire on the other targets. I order my wingmates to cover me there. Mostly I just want us to group up, otherwise we can get picked off one by one. The flagship has arrived, but as long as you have some drones and you stay out of range of it, you just want to like pick off everything else before engaging it, and you should be okay doing that. Bonus objectives are finally complete. Now I'm going to take out those damn sentinel guns. Except that enemy reinforcements are on the scene, so I got to take out these guys first. What's nice about the fighters is if you lay some shots into them, they'll usually stop playing chicken with you and disengage, and then you can get behind them and finish them off. Damn, those sentinel shots are close. I approach the sentinel guns off-center and weave back and forth a little bit because when they recharge, you have a very short amount of time to dodge those shots. I've used up all the purifier bombs on 2 of my fighters, and I know there's a third one that has some. So I want to switch into that one so that I can use them on either the flagship or the frigate that came in with it. I should be flying a more evasive approach, but I'm getting greedy here, and thankfully it doesn't turn out too horribly for me. I take a shot in the face and then take down the frigate. I'm pretty sure most of these purifiers are a total whiff on the flagship, but you can't stay still around that thing because the cannons just will take you out in just a couple shots if you're motionless. Those railgun shots flying over my shoulder, those are from the flagship. That's what you gotta avoid at this point. All the beeping coming up is my flak drone shooting down wraith missiles from the flagship. Super valuable. So if you're thinking of trying to set some kind of speed record on this level, this is the point where you consider just dying with one of your fighters, because every 3 kills you get a free reinforcement. It's kind of like an extra life, and that reinforcement comes in with a full stock of those purifier bombs. I decide not to do that here because I just want to beat the level. Until the next wave of enemy reinforcements in, we've cleared everything except for the flagship. So now I'm going to go in. I initially target the engines, but that's worthless. You want to target the bridge. Once you knock down the bridge, it deals I think like a 30% damage against the base hull, which is humongous. So that's what you want to target when you don't have any purifier bombs left over. Once the bridge is down, then you can also knock out the railguns. This is all temporary. They do repair and come back, but it's pretty nice to have them out of the battle for a little while. Reinforcements are coming in right out of the sun, but like I said before, laying just a couple shots into them, they will veer off course, and then they're much easier to take down. At this point, I realize I've lost my flak drone, so it's really valuable to shoot down enemy flak drones because they just lay constant damage into you if you don't. Braking gives you a maximum turn radius, but drifting significantly increases your turn radius and you're still moving. So I like to drift as I'm trying to come around on an enemy, and I'll also just sprinkle some accelerations in there just to change my trajectory a little bit. I do believe that the enemy AI is leading its targets, but it's just doing a very basic leading of the target based on your most recent position. So you can sort of foil it by changing up your vector. Drifting is also great for laying shots into the flagship, but here I want to get around into the other side to target the bridge. The bridge repairs and comes back the same way that the railguns do, which just gives you another opportunity to lay 30% damage into the hull by destroying it. You can tell by the sound effect here that I use the braking turn rather than the drifting turn to come around on that fighter real fast. You want to use that braking turn if you know no one is currently laying shots onto you. The flagship seems to be targeting my allies. There's no other fighters, so I just want to come around on this guy as fast as possible. A lot of dogfighting games use a target lead indicator showing you ahead of your target where you should be shooting in order to hit it. I kind of like that House of the Dying Sun keeps the interface clean by using an audio indicator to cue you up to when you're able to land shots on the target rather than a visual one. I've completely lost track of if any of my allies have died and I've gained reinforcements, so I just give them the order to launch any purifier bombs that they have onto the flagship. It's so nice when the flagship is targeting your allies to be able to just sit there and take down the railguns. All of its guns disabled and its missile tube disabled, it is just a sitting duck. I just stay here and lay shots into it. It goes down, the prince ejects, I knock him out, and then I am free to leave the level victorious.